Dungeons and Dragons is approaching its 50th birthday, but just about any way you want to measure it, the game is more popular than it's ever been, showing up in mainstream entertainment like Stranger Things and The Big Bang Theory, getting name-checked by celebrities like Joe Manganiello, Vin Diesel, and Stephen Colbert, and attracting new fans through streaming shows like Critical Role and Dimension 20. D&D is a tabletop role-playing game, which can be a little tricky to explain to the unfamiliar because in many ways it functions less like a traditional game and more like childhood make-believe. There's no winning or losing. The game takes place almost entirely in the minds of the players, generally without any sort of board. Players create a character in a fantasy world, like a dwarvish fighter or an elvish wizard, and another player, known as the Dungeon Master, narrates the situation that they find themselves in. The players say how they'd like their characters to respond to that situation, and the Dungeon Master uses a rulebook and a set of dice to determine whether they're successful, and then narrates the outcome. The whole process repeats from there, making the game feel something like collaborative storytelling. The game has had its ups and downs, but it has been on a steady ascent since the 2014 introduction of 5th edition, which streamlined the rules of the game and helped make the game more accessible to new players. As Wizards of the Coast starts to make that new digital push, it also has a new leader, Cynthia Williams, who has some relevant experience there. She previously worked in Microsoft's Xbox division. We had the opportunity to speak with Cynthia at Wizards of the Coast office outside Seattle.
I started at Amazon and grew fulfillment by Amazon from a startup. At about the 10-year mark, Phil Spencer was looking to scale Xbox beyond the console. So I wanted to take what I knew and then apply it somewhere else. And I fell in love with gaming as part of Xbox. And that led me to Wizards of the Coast. Dungeons and Dragons is about to celebrate its 50th anniversary in 2024, and it has had 9 consecutive years of growth. It is having this pop cultural resurgence, but I really think it's about the people who played it when they were kids. They're introducing it to their kids. And our data tells us that nearly half of the people who are playing tell us they play every week with their family. Today, our revenue stream had really come from publishing the books. We're looking to bring more fans into the party of loving Dungeons and Dragons with the release of a feature film in March of 2023. We have very high recognition and awareness among gamers aged 15 to 45. And so we see a massive opportunity for people to be able to connect with it internationally. I think Dungeons and Dragons is so special and has had such a long history. To me, one of the most important things we do is be true to this brand, be true to its history and legacy, and help move it into this digital age.
Wizards of the Coast has big plans for D&D, but none of this is a sure bet. Wizards has to figure out how to nail the balance of selling more books without flooding the market or alienating the game's existing fans. But the company says 50 million people have played the game since 1974, and for now at least, it seems like that number is climbing. As long as D&D keeps expanding the party, it's poised for an epic adventure.